everybody. Welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. You're hearing the voice of Mrs. Best. We are here to do our weekly recap of Debs House. This show has actually turned out to be something that I find to be entertaining. For me, with reality TV, I prefer to be entertained and not see people actually like harmed and impacted in their real lives. So shout out to Miss Deb for doing a good job with this show. Good job for that. So we are not having James with us on this recap because he does have a previous engagement. It's one of his good friends' birthday, so he is going to attend that. So happy birthday to his good friends. But nonetheless, we are still going to go over Deb's house, and he will be back with us next week for all of our recaps. So the last we left off was the Hot Mess Express, y'all, with this episode. It came out that Electra and Honeybee know Deb. They have a relationship with Deb, a relationship deep enough to where they were living in Deb's house. This, of course, upset the women, and they felt like, well, why are these women here? We're actually trying to, make it and hope to be managed by Deb, and she's got people here who she already knows. It's not fair, which I thoroughly agree with all of the women. I didn't think it was fair for the Honeybee or Electra to be there. Now, Honeybee was eliminated with Electra, but she had an attitude, and Hot Chalk ended up smacking her with 2 fingers. That's why the episode's titled Two Little Fingers. And she does it right in front of Miss Deb. I felt like Hot Chalk had the right to do it, and she could have done more, but she chose not to. Now, Deb makes the point that if Honeybee and Electra were big artists, they would not be able to be on this show. And it's almost like Deb is trying to defend what she's done. But at the end of the day, the fact that they know you, when these women are fighting to get to know you and to win a contract with you and to have you manage them, it's not fair, Deb. These ladies already have what these other women are fighting to win. So why put them there? It just doesn't make sense to me, y'all. It doesn't make sense. So Deb Big claims that she knew Honeybee and Electra from the past, but she just did not take accountability for the fact that they lived with her. But she does acknowledge that she knows them, which that in itself shows that they should have went home. So, I was glad that Deb sent Honeybee and Electra home. One, Electra had no talent. I did not feel she deserved to be there. As for Honeybee, I didn't particularly feel she was the most talented there. I felt like she's a better singer than rapper. But the fact that she knows Deb, she doesn't need to be there. Now, Deb then makes the point of not wanting anyone to fight. She says you cannot fight everybody. And I'm kind of like, how dare you make this point when you're the one that started the drama amongst these women that's caused them to fight? Deb just lacks accountability entirely, and that really annoys me. So she's then manipulative and proves that she's manipulative, Miss Deb, by telling Rocky that no reality show would take her on and film her with her case. That is not true. Reality shows have filmed people in far worse situations legally than Rocky. So don't make it seem like nobody would have took her and like you did her a favor, because you didn't. You didn't. Rocky had to do some type of work on her own as an artist to be able to get known by a show like this, or to even have been considered to get that far. Don't take away the work that these women have put in to lack accountability, Deborah, to make your own ego feel better. That's the crap I don't like. And maybe that's why Miss Deb is known for having beefs with everybody that she done worked with. Even if they made peace, she always gets into it with the people closest to her. And that says something about her. You can be a mogul and respected in the industry, but you can also be somebody who has things to work on, that's how she is. That's what it is. Now, Electra seems to understand why the women are angry, which I respected that at the very least with Electra. She says that she should not have been put on this show, which I agree with. And she feels that Ms. Deb should have protected her, which I agree. Even though it's shady and she shouldn't have been on the show, the fact that that was Miss Deb's artist who was living in her house, she should have been protected by Miss Deb in case something like this happens. But Electra's point also kind of bothered me. You want to be in hip hop, right? An industry and a genre of music that does involve a lot of grit. It does involve people who's from the hood. It does involve people who grew up rough versus having the kosher, normal lifestyle, whatever that may be. And you're saying that you should have protection from Ms. Deb against these women because of how they grew up. That's what I got from Electra, and I didn't like that. And who Camille's not from the street. She grew up in the suburbs. So I don't know. Electra, I respect you for not being upset to leave, but at the same time, watch the comments you make about people from the streets, because it doesn't always mean they're going to attack you. I'm somebody who grew up in an area that wasn't the best, but I'm not the type that's going to, smack nobody up first or anything like that. I don't consider myself to be a violent person. So she just got to watch her statement. But she's gone. She couldn't rap. And I hope that she learns from it. I really hope she learns from it. I like Electra, like her personality wise, and I hope she does things. Now, here's the thing. Miss Deb then says that Hot Chalk cannot stay in the house because Hot Chalk smacked up Honey Bee with 2 fingers. And that irritated me. You started this whole beef. Hot Chalk would not have smacked anybody. She had a sisterhood and got along with the women who she was competing against. They had that respect for each other. So even though Hot Chalk also at the same time is responsible for her own actions, I feel like because Deb started this, she should have gave her a pass. But I don't know. This show is making me lose respect for Miss Deb in terms of how she moved, like with her artists. It makes you wonder, like, if you're managed by her, is she going to put you in a situation where you're uncomfortable? People could want to fight you. Like, it really does make you look at it that way. But then at the same time, this is a show, y'all. So I'm sure it's for the show. So I also think Miss Deb's behavior and manipulation is an example of how the music industry will be, and that might be good for these women to experience to some extent. So I will leave it there. Now, Honeybee wants to press charges on Hot Chalk and Rocky, even though Rocky did not even touch Honeybee. But Honeybee gonna say she want to press charges on Rocky anyway because she's a bully. Rocky ain't no bully. Rocky seems sweet and get along with them. Yeah, Rocky's rough around the edges. If you play with Rocky, she might smack you up, but that's if you play with Rocky. She's not just bothering people. Rocky seems sweet to me. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm not the type to judge a book by its cover, because you can't. You just can't. So I don't respect Honeybee. I don't know how you expect to come up in the industry and be respected, even by people who are into punk rock and heavy metal. Like, nobody respects a snitch. You trying to snitch on this girl and then set her up, essentially. You snitching on one when you deserve what you got, and then you're making up a lie about the other. And you want to involve the police, and you have to be talked out of it. Don't matter if you didn't press charges, Honeybee. You'll never have full respect for nobody in this industry. I hate scary bitches like her. And I'm glad Hot Chalk got it with the 2 little fingers. I'm just saying. Now, Honeybee then cries about how Deb would not get her producers and songwriters. This girl is just showing why Deb felt the need to show her like you don't know shit. 1, go find your own producers. There's Fiverr, BeatStars. You could go on Instagram and go look at a hashtag for music producers. I do music reviews, y'all. Check them out on the channel and reactions. It's so easy to find a producer. So stop BSing. You want a Deb to probably find and pay for it. It sounds like Honeybee's lazy. And 2, you crying about not having songwriters. Well, then you better start practicing and put pen to paper and get better at writing your damn self. How do you think independent artists everywhere else are doing it? And you crying about Deb not getting you stuff that you should be able to do on your own. I didn't understand why Honeybee was still there fighting for Rocky to go home, it seems. She just proved that she is fake. And girls like Honeybee, they real familiar and they real fake. We'll see where she gets. She has to really grow and have a lot of accountability, I think, to make it anywhere in life. That's my personal opinion. It sounds like Deb thinks she's spoiled because she kept talking about how much Honeybee's mom cares, but we didn't get too deep. But I would love to get like a reunion or a backstory to like get the update on the ladies. I hope they do that at the end of the show, y'all. Speaking of which, shout out to the replay gang. Thank you for watching. If you are still here, even though we're not live no more, I want to acknowledge y'all because that's what keeps me going on this channel. I appreciate all of you guys who watch. It really does mean thy world. Now, I felt Hot Chalk when she said that if she was going to leave, she should have just punched Honeybee and, blacked her eye. I ain't going to lie. I felt that, Hot Chalk. Love Hot Chalk. I hope that she, continues grinding and doing music. She's super talented. Super talented. Now, it looks like none of the ladies were too upset with Electra, probably because Electra acknowledged their talent and was like, yo, you're right. I probably shouldn't be here. but them to be upset with Honeybee, it just makes sense. Honeybee is a problem separate from Deb's lying. Honeybee is a problem. But we only have 4 women left in the competition: Queen Izzy, Who Camille, Big Dank, and Rocky. And I am okay with the people left. I do feel like the weaker rappers left while we have a moment are Who Camille and Queen Izzy. But I'm okay with who's left. I'm okay with who's left. Now, Deb has Jaleel White, a super producer and songwriter who also is blind. I have heard of Jaleel White, but I had no idea that he was blind. He's super talented. And we see a songwriter named Kyla, as well as Tracy Morgan, comedian and actor. They come into the studio, and the ladies find out they have 48 hours to make a song. And that's all they know. Now, Tracy Morgan gives an uplifting speech to the ladies and all of these things. And, we then see Rocky and Dank hop on a beat, which I personally felt like they both did well on. So we then see Queen Izzy and Who Camille rap on a beat that I thought the beat was a little It was one of those beats that's difficult. Somebody got to really bar it for you to know if you like the beat. But they did okay. And the ladies then each went to work with the songwriter in pairs. And I was cracking up because they worked with the songwriter. Seemed like Who Camille and Queen Izzy, they really appreciated the songwriter. They have no issue working with them, which doesn't surprise me. But then Rocky and Dank, they seem more like, I want to write this on my own. They're more creatively, they want more creative control. But I was cracking up because Rocky said, can't nobody write her bars. Okay, girl. I love Rocky for that. I love Rocky for that. I respect that because, in rap, yes, some people will work with other writers like Drake or Beyonce. And then you have other artists who are like, I need to write. And they take pride in that. And that's okay. It's good either way. But I do have more respect for the people who write their own stuff. I'm just saying. But at the same time, if you can't write your own stuff and you're a great performer, then nothing's wrong with that either. Hey, there's room for everybody. That's my opinion. Now, the ladies then go on to record the tracks, and they did struggle a little bit because they have their own way of recording. I tell this to artists on the song reviews, music reactions, artists I would advise, and all of those things. It's okay to have your own way of doing things that works for you, like your go-to. However, at the same time, you need to be able to adjust. You need to be like a chameleon as an artist. You may not always be able to punch in. You may have to sit down and write something. You may not be able to sit down and write something. You may have to punch in. You may have to freestyle. But as an artist, I think it's important to be well versed. So some of the ladies struggled, but overall they figured it out. Now, they did okay with recording. And then we see them go to a place in New York City called Derucci, which is essentially a shop that sells jackets, furs, and things like that in New York, because I'm sure it get hella cold out there. I'm from the Bay Area. I don't deal with snow, you guys. I see snow on TV. I'm stressed out. I've had to go to the snow a few times. It doesn't end up well for me. I'm somewhere shivering, staying near a heater. I don't like the snow, but that's just me. Anyway, the ladies go to Derucci. They do a photo shoot in furs. And Big Dank is struggling because she can't fit much. She's extremely plus sized. And she claims it's thyroid, but I think a lot of it's also how she's eating and what she's doing. And she can't fit much in the store at all. Now, Ms. Deb tells Dank she needs to ask the man in the store if he can make it in her size. And, I understand what Ms. Deb is saying, don't just get frustrated, ask what can be done. But at the same time, is the show paying for this? How is she to know? I understand Dank's discomfort with asking. I totally get that. And the way that Deb came at her was aggressive. Now, Dank is struggling, and Deb continues to come for her, to ask questions. And it seems like Deb is, in my opinion, a little too hard on Dank. But at the same time, when you that size, I think that there's a responsibility of the person. But I also know psychologically there's something going on with her in addition to medically. So I don't feel like you should attack the girl. That's not always going to work. Tough love with everyone does not work. Every human is different and has different requirements. And Deb being hard on Dank did not help her to be successful. It actually pushed her to break. And you can't sit here and then say, Deb, oh, well, that's the industry. You got to learn that. I understand they have to have thick skin and be tough to be in the industry, but there are also people in the industry who have some form of empathy, and they just gonna push people like that. Now, Dank breaks and says to the show, "This y'all responsibility. You know you got a plus size girl on here, so why don't you have nothing that accommodates me?" And Deb gets mad and suggests that Dank is embarrassing her and says that maybe this is not for you. In my opinion, Deb tried to humiliate Dank for no reason. It seemed like her ego was swinging because of all the drama that happened with Miss Deb being exposed on her own show as a liar, lying about the intentions of Electra and Honeybee. Now you looking for whatever opportunity you can to get the focus off of that and back onto this. And I feel like she used Dank as a pawn for that. I could be wrong. I would love you guys to comment your opinions if you felt differently. But I didn't like how Deb handled Dank at all. I really did not like that. But I did enjoy the episode, and that's pretty much where it is. We got the to be continued. So we're going to see what happens next week, which I believe is the finale. We will be here next week to go over the finale. And I really appreciate every single person who took the time to watch any of my videos, whether it's Debs House, this one's, or any of the videos, because I am a new YouTuber. So it means the world. Your support helps to keep me going. And we have made it to the end almost of another show. So I'm going to say goodbye to y'all for now. Our next live recap will be on Monday for the Housewives of New Jersey. On Tuesday, we will have Basketball Wives. On Monday, we also will have a music review. And on Sunday and Monday, we will have music reactions dropping. But we will be back again next Saturday to go over the finale, I believe, of Debs House. Comment your opinions, even if we're not live no more, because I love to chat with you guys. I want to hear what you feel about the show and your opinions. Who's your favorite? Who you wish would have stayed? All those good things. Like the video, good energy, thug life, love and light to you all. I'll see y'all next week.